I will then start looking at the charts so that
Yeah.
we don't get to take much time at the same time as well. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Thank you so much. If you can see my screen from there, kindly update me and let me know so that
Yes.
you can see my screen, right?
Yeah. I can see it.
Good. So today, basically, I'll be looking at where we can have like a, let's say, like a swing trading opportunity that's coming up in the next few days. That's what I'll try and look at. And the way that I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna use a high time frame to back up my decision making rationale. And using the sorry, sorry, 1 second. Using that will give me some kind of edge into potential possibilities of the kind of things that will likely to happen over the next coming weeks. That will then give me an opportunity to feel where the market is currently, because the thing about the market is we have to know where we are coming from. Okay, if we want to know where we are going, we have to know where we are coming from. I do not like to use the word predictions, because there are so many things that fall under predicting. If somebody want to say that they want to predict the market, it can put other people in a different frame of mind and think, okay, you can always sit down and predict that these things will happen, right? But for me personally, I will look at data and see where we were coming from and see where we are currently, and then potentially be able to identify where we are likely going. And I will just use what the price is telling me. And the reason why I'm saying things like this is the price is the king, irrespective of whichever indicators that you want to put together. Thank you so much, Amias, as well, for joining in. Irrespective of whichever indicators you want to put together, majority of those indicators will be a lagging indicator. Give me a second, please. Okay, and when you are using something that is lagging to make pure decisions of something that is dynamic, one thing you will realize is this: because it's lagging and it's staying far behind the actual movement, and the movement can be dynamic, which means the movement may sometimes be moving up and then suddenly it can change from moving up to moving down. You haven't even finished translating the indicator changes that will occur just because the price is moving up. That hasn't been completed, and then suddenly the direction change, and then the indicator will want to follow the directional change. Maybe the price starts to move down after it has moved up, and then at the same time again, not quite long ago, say like situation like this, the price move up, then suddenly it moves down, then it moves up again. and then it kind of moved down. The indicators might not be able to give you a full picture of exactly what is going on. But what will give you that full picture is the price itself. All right, so let me put some, but the concept of market profile is not like an indicator. What it actually does is it compiles all the price and the time in which those prices occur, and then give us a picture, or give us a picture of exactly what has been happening. So on this monthly chart, if I'm looking at this profile, I'm looking at a 5-year profile. So what has happened over the last 5 years is every single thing that's over here. And I can equally read that over the last 5 years, the only place where the buyers have come into the market is strongly and aggressively, and there's nothing you can do about it, but they will leave their print on the chart so that you can know that, okay, we come in here, and when we come in here, we come in with an aggression, which means with a huge competition. And you'll be able to see that on the chart, the way the price was dropping down significantly for the last 3 months over here, lead to a period of time whereby we have all this single print of C. And that shows me that in this particular month, there were so much aggressive buyers that comes into the market and change the course of price to the upside. Now we are coming down to that region. This chart is already dead in a way, and the reason why I said it's already dead is because the price is declining. There's nothing that can quickly change the course of price until we find a way to get to this location where so many buyers are hanging by. 1 second, please. No problems. The recording is on. All right. So as the price is declining over there, I believe the price will continue to decline, and it will have a little bit of let's say anything to kind of hold it back. But is there so much of an opportunity in this again? Well, I would say maybe not so much immediately now, but the only thing that we know is our directional bias needs to be down. But where I'm looking for the opportunity for next week is not exactly on the Aussie dollar. When I find that an opportunity, I will let you know. For me, for the Aussie dollar now, I can say to myself, maybe I should look at some Fibonacci relationships if we are approaching any. So currently I can see that we've broken the 61.8 Fibonacci level, and I believe during this new month, price can be finding a bounce off of 61.8 or potentially 50% level, where we have a possibility for another role reversal somewhere over here. So for me to actually take part in selling the Aussie dollar, I want to see a move up first. That will give me a little bit of a discount. But the kind of opportunity that I'm looking for is not exactly in the Aussie dollar. If price is right here now, then I can know that something magnificent can happen, and then that can be very solid and supportive, and price can then turn. All right. You want to use the profile. The top part of the profile is where the highest level of how do I put it, probability for price to turn is, and the bottom part of the profile depends on the kind of action that happens there, is where the highest probability for price to become so cheap and then turn back. So it's just like a gauge for the market. So, but let's quickly scan through some few things. All right, so the euro is giving me that single print now. So the euro might be reaching a level that is potentially finding many buyers. And looking backwards long term as well, I can see that the euro is sitting on some level over here, which is from that particular high to, let's say, some level over there, which is on that particular low. So somewhere around there where we have a little bit of demand and supply forces challenging the market, and then we have some previous area of high over here becomes very, very important. So the euro is hitting a zone, and in that zone we can have a bit of reaction, but there hasn't been anything meaningful enough that would change the course of price strongly to the upside. But in this zone, this particular level where we are, you can see that price went there before and then bounced back down. That level of 95.80 level becomes very, very important for price to see what kind of reaction we can get there. We are seeing the reaction now last month, close with a single print, which means there's a significant amount of buyers more present in this location, and then probably those buyers may change turn. But I wanted to talk about the monthly point of control. That's where I'm looking for opportunity as we go. So I'll do that very fast. Pound dollar, there's nothing immediately in terms of the strategy that I'm considering. But yeah, I can see that there's some aggressive buying based on the single prints that I'm seeing on this chart, and comes in at the same time as well. So I will be very cautious selling things with full confidence. I know price can come down a little bit, find a little bit of support to continue to go up. So that's the kind of directional bias or clue that the profile is giving me as we go. All right, so one particular chart that may have a very strong opportunity for us will be dollar Swiss, and that will be the 99.10. So, but the kind of high probability that I can see might not give me wait me a second. The kind of opportunity that I can see might not give me a very large result, and it might, and I'll show you the reason why I'm thinking maybe it might. When we take out this 99.10, which is last month's point of control, where price spent so many times, but we can narrow it down to a single number, to a single price, and it is this line in the middle. If we trade above here for any reason and then we retest it, and we're going to be using this place as an area of resistance where price can take a little bit of a breather, and then eventually this price might lead to a very strong breakout. We've been seeing that breakout in things like dollar card, and then that may definitely occur. And once that happens, price tends not to look back. All right, so what I then want to do is these are areas where you can find positions that you can definitely find a way to make sure that you are part of it. The direction is clear already. When we hit this particular low and price went up and gave us this a bit of higher low, you can see glaringly how all the lows that we are creating is not coming lower. And eventually when we have this impulsive move that has shown us that price want to go up, the kind of price reaction that we're seeing is a retracement, and then we still create a little bit of more higher low, and all those higher low are just setting up the price for an upward trajectory. And once we can break this barrier, which is not going to come exactly easy, right? But I still believe that if we look back at this chart over the next couple of few weeks to come, we might find ourselves trading a lot higher and finding ourselves challenging this particular barrier, because dollar has managed to break such a barrier in CAD, and we might be looking up. So this is kind of setting up nicely, and where the price closed compared to where I need to see us close above, which is this monthly point of control, 99.10, that becomes the number that I will pay attention to closely. Any trade above it with a decent structure I have full confidence that we are going up. And that's the way that I trade. What gives us confidence, the convictions that price is going to continue to go without stopping. So using 5 years data and where the point of control of the last 5 years is, and us approaching it, and the chart structure that's approaching it is giving us a bullish structure. Once we're able to close above it, this guy is literally just going to explode, because at the back of these areas over here, there are many stops, and all those stops, the traders that are selling over here will place their stop at the high, selling over here will play their stop at the high. So there's so many emotional trades that are already at the top of this area, and price is going back to that particular area. You'll be asking yourself that, would there be some people still having their sell position? It is possible, because the forces that we are trading against or trading with are longer term investors in the currency markets, and once they form a barrier, you can see that they form that barrier. If they're going to lose that barrier, obviously, even if it is not live forex trade, there are options exercises that goes on in different locations whereby they set a barrier and they've been collecting some kind of premiums in option dividends as the price is declining over a long period of time. So when the price is forming every formation to go above it, over here becomes a huge area where all those stops will be triggered. And once those stops are triggered, right, the next thing that may happen is price may get off significantly. And what we want to be having as our gauge is, if price then start to trade back below the 99.10 inflection point or monthly point of control, then we want to change our bias and start selling. If price stays above it, then obviously with this chart structure, it's looking so strong that we can then break above it and continue. So dollar Swiss is remaining a key chart whereby I will be looking for an opportunity. So that is separated. So I know that I'm looking for an opportunity in dollar Swiss. I'll keep that chart. Where I'm looking for other opportunities is what I'm looking for on this monthly chart. All right. So the same kind of scenario occur over a long period of time when the dollar yen was forming a massive consolidation. And the moment we hit this low and we created some kind of chart structure that did not take out this low, the upward movements begins. And because of this longer term consolidation that we are able to break, the dollar yen trade has been a significant and one directional bias trade that just keep going. Look at what was there as well. Monthly point of control of 111. Once price was able to sit down above that conveniently, the price has not been looking back. So but the dollar yen trade has already occurred. So on the upside, we might be seeing this single print high, but I haven't seen enough strong rejection on the upside. So, I mean, I don't want to go against this particular trend that's already forming. I want to be part of a trend that's just about to explode. And that is what I'm seeing in dollar Swiss. So for Aussie CAD, we've left the monthly point of control. We're sitting down in more or less like a support zone. The chart structure is still giving us a stronger and bearish order flow. So this one, I should maintain what's it called? I should maintain a bearish bias on this, and then I'll be looking at every support bounce that may occur and be taking profit from there, and possibly just looking for where price may turn again, and then I will be looking for opportunity. And chat like Aussie CAD, it does not move a large amount of pips per day. They move slightly slow, but once you can get the levels right, you can play with this chart for the little movements that it does. Same thing with Aussie Swiss. The moment we crash this 66, 70 monthly point of control, then obviously price continues to descend. And the moment we're able to break away all this psychological barrier of liquidities that we have under here, this has shown me that all we need is potentially a little bit of retest and further continuation. So this might be of a little bit of interest as well. All right. So Aussie Swiss. Let's look at Aussie yen. I might keep the Aussie Swiss. I mean, the first one, the Aussie CAD chart. Sorry, Aussie. What is that? 1 second. Yeah, the Aussie Swiss CAD. I might keep that one. So my key trade for the new week, where I'm looking for that significant reaction, still remain the dollar Swiss. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask. On this particular Aussie yen, I couldn't find a reason for that explosion yet, but that has already happened. So there's no any drive that is likely going to cause explosion immediately on this. Let me look at Aussie New Zealand, right? We break above the point of control and we sit conveniently above it, and this kind of take off Aussie New Zealand, but it's not my preferred feature. CAD Swiss, we can have an interesting development in CAD Swiss. Yeah, the longer term sell-off. We've just traded below the monthly point of control, so we might have a decent flow continuation to the downside. The only thing holding that is this particular support area, and I believe we will be able to break this easily, considering when you look at the way that we've traveled, we hit this high, we formed this structure that kind of give us a lower high, and then we break down below. So we've seen the formation of bearish order delivery just by breaking the structure. Price return back to the upside using the value area as an area of rejection. And the thing about the market profile is as price moves, the same time as well, the profile does that calculation and give us some letters or some ideas of where the largest concentrations of traders are. So this has been forming a bearish flow. So even if we find a retracement, that will be a key opportunity to find continuation. So, but it's not my best chart for now. Let's look at CAD yen. Right, so CAD yen is giving us an interesting development just because we've just break below the monthly point of control. The only thing that I need to see on this CAD yen is for the chart structure to actually become bearish. All right. So, and we having that kind of a pattern on this ascending channel that is forming on CAD yen. So, but mind you, we can be using the channel as an area of support to bounce back up. So I will be looking for an interesting development in this CAD yen as well, because of the pattern that we are in, you know, that can literally bounce and continue to go back up. But the monthly point of control will be my key decision maker. We are not far from there, the 105.54, and we are currently at 104.67. But the chart pattern needs to turn bearish, first of all, which means we need to break some key structural lows over here for us to know that, okay, continuation to the downside is key. So it's not just looking at the monthly point of control or the data about the monthly point of control, but it's about understanding the chart's structure at the same time that is forming around that monthly point of control. So I might be looking for an interesting development in the card yen. But the other thing is that was a weekly chart, but it's good that we're able to look at that anyway. All right, so card Swiss yen, not a lot. Euro Aussie, the one key thing that I see with this Euro Aussie is it's the bottom of the profile, right? And I can see the kind of chart formation that was at the bottom. This is more or less like a double bottom, and a double bottom can then lead to a reversal pattern. And as we continue to go, we come into one key level over here where we have a massive supply. So I'll be cautious in taking the Euro Aussie to the upside, but there is some little bit of opportunity of swing trading coming up in it as well. So I'll keep that one, and I'll keep Guardian. So I've got a couple of charts that I would like to do some other analysis on. So I'm just doing my pick right now, so that I can see a longer term perspective directional bias. So this on a monthly Euro card. So we've hit this area of double bottom, and it's in a key location. And previously we have some single print here which allowed me to the strength of the bias over here, and then price return below it, right? But price couldn't find a reason to continue downward. We were searching for those opportunities for sellers to show us they can push price down. But obviously in this area, we know the buyers are there. Price can trade below that single print. All we want to see is, are there going to be acceptance of the continuation of the flow, or the flow which is bearish? Are there going to be more sellers when we break and then we retest and then we find continuation? Well, in this case, it's a reversal that we are seeing. So this might present a very good opportunity if the trend is just going to continue to give us a reason for a trend change, which obviously over here, we saw this low, we saw the high, we find a bit of retracement down and prices going up. So we need to see a full bullish order delivery. Price needs to give us a clear indication that we're making low high and higher low, and then a new high, for us to actually be able to be convinced that this can give us a longer term move up. So it's worth keeping to a certain extent as well. Let me quickly browse through other prices that we're seeing. There's not much here. Wow, the euro pound. The euro literally took the piece with a pound over the last month. Euro strengthened significantly, and then we saw the sell-off. All right, so what this has created is like an opportunity or some kind of a guideline to say that are we seeing some changes that will need continuation? And I kind of like the chart pattern, because as you can see clearly, once we form this low, which is lower than that, and then we form this high, which is what was it called? And we form this high, which is which could have possibly be a lower high compared to where we were coming from this high. and then we form this low, which is a higher low, and then price does this, okay? That becomes a key significant move for me to say that, right, what we've seen before, we can see it again. I mean, at the back of this rejection, that we say price may then use the new month to take every single thing that has been taken away back. So the pound may continue to be weakened against the euro, but the formation has clearly shown us that there's a trend in play. So what we will be looking at is a retracement, which we get one single time on that one single month, right? That will now then lead to potential continuation. So the new month can be that kind of scenario for us. This is crazy, man. But yeah, let me look for other opportunities. So you can see what I'm actually doing is I'm not saying to myself I wanted to trade just a pound alone or trade just whatever alone, because I realized that I was speaking to Grace, was it yesterday, and she was pointing out that she's trying to delve into other peers, and but it's not, the problem is not looking at other peers, but how to find that structure, or what will give you a concrete structure at the back of whatever peer you're going to be looking at. But it involves a little bit of work in identifying what the price is actually doing. And if you use a longer term charts to find that, it can set you on a very good path to find that trade. I mean, I've been in a trade for 3 months before, one single trade, and it was on this euro yen. And I think I made about 3,000 pips just from finding that particular trade. So that is exactly what I'm doing, trying to look for something that can give us that massive explosive move that wouldn't look back once it's set. So that is what I'm trying to do here. On Euro New Zealand, I mean, a key significant development has happened. The directional bias has changed. We've had this low, we have this lower high, we have this higher low, and then the trend is up. So any retracement back down now, for whatever reason, might be a reason for me to say that, okay, we are looking for trend continuation. The euro is breaking all the commodity currencies such as Euro Aussie, which we've seen over here. The Euro card at the same time as well is giving us some interesting development at the low. Now the Euro New Zealand. So Euro, all the commodities are actually, commodity currencies are actually doing pretty bad against the euro right about now. So it's looking like as if the trade in the euro, or the euro trade, is the trade of the year, because we're seeing some clear sign of reversal coming into the euro. So I will note that at the back of my mind. I'm going to be bullish on euro, because what is once certain other Europeans are taking the heat of more buy orders, it can lead to an overall euro buying net effect. So taking a position against that, something which is glaring, can be very, very challenging. So I'll just be at the back of my mind that, okay, if I'm looking for anything on the Europeans, I'm looking for a bullish scenario. You know, even if the bullish scenario has already occurred, then the next thing I'm looking for is a retracement. The chart structure is clearly proving that we broke this key structure. We've broken that key structure, right? So what can then happen is even if we see a retracement, I know that that retracement is for continuation, and then it's so strong that we might just see a continued move up higher. So the euro trade is becoming a huge trade. Okay, so I think I've got a massive amount of charts, more than I can imagine, to work with. 1 second. Good night, Grace. Please use some medication and relax. It's needed, you know, and you take anything that will boost up your immune system because of the change of weather. Everybody's feeling poorly. Even me, sometimes my nose is blocked. All right. So I'll go and let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have a lot of work to do. You're welcome. So starting from dollar Swiss. So what I want to do is I want to go and open up my node layout, my Swiss or my Swiss pair. So out of here, I'll find a dollar Swiss, and then I can continue that analysis. All right, so this is the dollar Swiss, and I will start from monthly again. Okay, so I've got some previous analysis on there, which I'm more than happy to delete or just use another chart at the same time as well to say something. All right, so with this now, what I would do is, because I've got some stay on page, I want to open node layout, and I will open the multi-time frame layout. Now do some analysis that's just purely for the dollar Swiss against all time frame. So I want to be bullish on dollar Swiss if we go above 99.10. So I know that number already. See this. Okay. I think this is a relatively clean chart, although it should be my 1 month. Okay, so on the monthly chart, let's see what we have. So I'm going to delete every single thing that I've got over here. And the one key thing that I want to be my guidance is one single rose. And because I know that's a huge, it's a huge 99.10. Okay, so the kind of scenario that I'll be expecting around it is having that number of 99.10 is a monthly point of control of over the last 5 years. And what I want to see is potential possibility of us either trading above it and staying above it so that we can go and take out all these massive key areas. So, all right, so I know over here we have some levels of equal highs, which is glaring. I can see that one clearly, and there's no two ways about it. It is glaring that there are so many stops above here. So, and I'm seeing some chart structure that's giving me low, high, higher low, and higher high, another higher low, and I'm anticipating potential possibility for price to go up, hit this level, trade above it. Once we hit this level, we can see some sell-off. Once we trade above it, then I'm looking for a retest for continuation. So that is the way that I'm structuring my bias at this particular point in time. So going forward, the only thing that I can see that I can give price a huge explosion is this area of equal highs, because I know at the back of there are many stops, and once price can trigger those stops, that can open, and the stops that are there are gonna be, you are buying, so what I mean, sorry, you are selling. So for you to make profit, you need to buy back at your target profit, and then your stop loss too will be some buy orders. So if we're able to clear all the stops, that can give those buy orders that are there, can literally help the price to project and strongly up, you know, and that is what I'm looking for. I just need to see a reason for finding a bit of support around this monthly time frame, and I'll show you where those supports are likely going to be. So monthly has given me its structure. Now the weekly now is in this particular channel, and inside this channel, which is between the 633 and the 200 EMA, you can have bounce. So a lot of volatility occurs inside this channel, and the key for me to understand whether the volatility are done and they are not going to be affecting the price by pushing the price downward is how much work has actually been done inside there. So inside these two price zone, 200 EMA 633, I expect a lot of bounces, and those bounces I've already seen them. And it's taking couple weeks for that to occur. So the way the market works is over here we are building up a significant amount of pressure to use to explode, just the same way that we build up that significant amount of pressure on all this move before we then explode. So we've had this impulsive move, and this huge impulsive move, look at what it's done. It's find a way to correct itself for a very long period of time back to key price level 78.6. That 78.6 level becomes a golden zone. Not only that, there is even over here where the price retreats back to, and this is the power of trading with certain strategies that are proven. You know, over here there's a large transfer of force and price manage inside this channel for a long time. And where did it come to? It come back to its demand zone, right? Which is a level which if you understand the power of it clearly, you can see that price always find a reason to find its way back to its origin where it breaks out, and that patience alone can give you the opportunity of buying what has happened over here, which is literally let's have a look at it. How many pips is there from the break, which is literally about 637, 600 and let's say almost 700 pips, can give you the chance to at least buy the 700 pips 30% more cheaper. All right, and then now we are hitting the monthly point of control. But the key thing now is we need to see how the structure is developing. All right, so we go to daily charts. What we are looking for is that support and resistance that basically we're looking for a support that is closer to this monthly point of control where price can hit and then can use it as an opportunity to travel back upward. All right, so going forward and looking at what we are seeing, the massive retracement from that particular high that come to this demand zone, and you should be asking yourself that why this area? Why is it that it's this area that everything turns? Why is it that when price comes down to this level, it didn't stop, right? Or we still find a reason to break down below this level and then find a reason to break down below this level, continue to break structure and find a reason to now come here. And when we got here now, look how exactly what's happening over here, and start having an eye opener as to what price is doing. So we've talked about a demand zone and price kind of come down to this area. And just because this demand zone is over there, and if you're patient enough for price to just get there, you see that we break a new low, which means we have a new low. And then we now have a lower high, okay? And then we now have a new low, which is a lower low. We now have another lower high, and then we have a new low, all right? So you cannot be deceived about the fact that when we start to go up, we break this key lower high and form a higher high, all right? And then what did we do? We now form a higher low, and then it's now glaring that the price is going up because we can see that we are trading above this previous high, and then the support price again, and then start finding a reason to potentially move up. All right, so we can see that if a monthly point of control is there as a barrier for price to move up, okay, but it's forming a support underneath here, which is glaring, glaring because price move up and then it's this particular level to start to go back up. This area is becoming key for me because that's the last area of support, right? And then if we can use that to project ourselves forward, I believe we're going to have a massive explosion. Clearly, it's not even a case of prediction in the dollar squeeze. And the first area where we'll be targeting, and the good thing about that at the same time is this: if we have such a breakout, which potentially I believe we're going to have, is look at here. Anything above here, you will have all these trader stops all above here. You have further trader stops all above here. So there are some massive stops that if they were taken above here, can lead to a reason for price to kind of continue to explode. Please. So that area becomes key as well. So I know stops are over there. All we need to do is we need to take it, and this area becomes a huge levels as well, which obviously there are some stops over there which already we've taken, and we use the opportunity to sell back down inside, and now it looks like as if with the chart structure behavior we are pushing up higher. So our key thing is to be finding a reason to close above here and then take this thing a lot more higher. Breaking this area shouldn't be difficult as we go. Breaking all this area shouldn't be difficult. So I can see some liquidity that's already been engineered, ready to project orders to the long side scenario. The chart structure is proving the same thing. So you can see that my bullish scenario, I'm looking for every single thing that can possibly help it to project. And I'm seeing that even there's a trend line liquidity over here, that there are some trading strategy that will be like, once the trend line is broken, the price wouldn't look back. So we know above here, the only reason why that occurs is because of the stops that are there. There are so many buy stops that are hanging above somewhere around there. And once taken, the charts will now be looking like something that wants to do this. And this is where the scare factor is for traders, because of all this liquidity area price would take them, find a reason to retrace, right? That might be that retracement that we are needing back to the monthly point of control, use it as support, and then project back up. So I'm building all this trade scenario that I may potentially see as we go. And let me look at that on 12-hour charts. Okay, so clearly now I like the 12-hour trend, right? Because the 12-hour trend kind of keep me in perspective. So I like to do a little bit of chart analysis on the structures of the 12-hour charts. I like to see where all the internal structures are. I want to see what structures we are breaking, more than even using the EMAs alone. Guys, if you give me like 2-3 minutes, I'll be back. I just want to use it quickly, and then we come and look at some chart structures on the dollar suite.
It's the simple argument.
Hey, sorry for keeping you. All right, so like I said, the 12-hour trend will become an important chart for me to start looking for key opportunities and locations and what the price is doing. There are monthly, weekly, daily, but looking at the 12 hours, it kind of breaks things down for me a little bit. So what I would then do is I like to say just pure price action. So from this particular demand zone, price break key structures continue to go up, and then obviously we break structure over here and we have a massive sell-off, which is the higher low. We have a continuation to the upside from all this region, and then price kind of move up. All right, and that moving up creates a little structure over here, and we sell below that structure. Selling below that structure would start to make me be looking at, okay, we have a massive sell over here. There's some kind of a supply zone right above over here that created that significant sell. So that supply zone, I want to be wary of it, because that is what is going to be affecting me from pushing price forward. All right, what then happen again is on this particular 12-hour period, we then perform an important move. All right, there was an initial break of structure to the downside over here, which I'm not going to deny. Break of structure down, but the price can become very dynamic. So let me say 1 second. Let's delete that. So this little low over here becomes very important for me. The other thing that becomes very important for me is, as we continue to travel down, we start to find a barrier over here, and then the key latest thing that has just occurred is this break of structure to the upside. Right, so that break of structure up is now invalidating what's actually happening, which is this break of structure to the downside. So that dynamic, that change in dynamic is becoming very important for me to pay close attention to. That, okay, initially when we have this sell-off, we should continue to sell off, but for one reason or the other, we break structure down, now we're breaking structure back up. There's a change in play, and that change in play, I have to pay attention to it, because what is coming over here is there's the same amount of control, and there's a supply zone that I'm anticipating usually that we can break above. But all I can see is there's a large amount of work that might need to be done there before that actually happens. So I will be looking at what is at the bottom, preparing myself in case that supply zone want to really kick in severely. I will be saying there's another little demand zone right here. And then there's another little demand zone right here. All right, so there are some trades that they are so powerful that for one reason or the other, you can just see a quick flush down out of nowhere, and you'll be wondering what just happened. And that flush down will destabilize your thought process. I mean, the way the price is over here, it shows me that everything is going up. But where are we going to be eating? We're going to be eating some key supply zone, and then price may want to do a thing of let me rise above it and then sell off one. We can do multiple scenarios, and this is where the scenarios are now coming in. So we can come in now and trade above here because there are some key equal highs or lows, and then possibly find a reason to eat here, and then we have a huge sell-off, right? That huge sell-off may come to a zone like this before we pick back up. That is one scenario. So, and the reason why I like this zone is by then we would have had third, what's it called? This would have been a third areas to pick up liquidity. We would have break this side, we would have break this side, we have break all these challenges, and then that is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so even we can have a scenario where price breaks up high. So this is breaking the equal high or low area, is breaking the supply zone, is coming down to this area, you know what I mean? And then using back this supply zone area or the monthly point of control as support to take things back up. So that's another scenario. So this demand zone can see, sorry? This demand zone can still be a good area to look for buy opportunity, which means you're buying very cheap if price comes back there, because you can't forget the fact that the price structure has shifted to the bullish order delivery. So we are delivering a bullish order. So even a sell-off back to some key demand zone can be a good opportunity to look into. So I've seen that. Now I wanted to look at what is happening on a miniscale, which is like a 4-hour time frame. Okay, so what we're seeing is we can't forget the fact that we break this structure, and then we cannot forget the fact that we've just broken the new structure. So having broken this new key structure, I have a trigger, and my trigger will be this particular eye over here, right? And if we if we break this area of eye of 98.55, then I have an early entry trigger. And in my early entry trigger, I'll be looking for areas to act, which are what is in current. So we have some demand zone at the bottom over here at the same time as well. It becomes an important area that price can come and test in the new week. We have key level of order block or some orders hanging about in this area as well. So now that I'm doing all the chart works, I'm knowing where the levels are. So in this area as well, that's where the price exploded from, and it leaves some kind of imbalance before it continues to go up. We've had this break of structure. This early entry trigger is telling me that price is going up. I'm looking at the order block that price can retrace back down to before it goes up. And then another key entry area for me is as we go up, price can come and use this 98.55 area as well to bounce back. So my orders, my buy orders will be very good in between this area and this area. So it depends on the kind of formation that the chart is giving me. I'll be thinking a very good opportunity is coming up. And there is a potential possibility for an harmonic pattern at the same time as well. If I read it properly, maybe or maybe not. Right, so it's, let's see, inside there, 88.6. Yeah, so we can, in all the supply zone, there's a potential possibility for an harmonic pattern, shark pattern, but it's not a very well pronounced shark pattern that can give us a sell-off a little bit back in here. And so all these my areas might still be an area where price can return to and take an advantage of a buy opportunity over there. So keeping it and looking at, okay, my thing is to see potential possibility that we move up. If we see a sell-off, this is the next place where will become a key level for me to get involved for a buy. So the process is the process is looking at what price may, 1 second please. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking, this is my point of interest whereby I want to buy if price comes back to there. If price goes here because of this supply zone, yeah, so I expect some dynamic to occur over here of potential possibility for rejection, because those are where the orders are. So I have this area that I'm watching. That doesn't mean that price cannot break above it, especially because of the monthly point of control. All I'm saying is that there is a high probability trade over here, and I'm expecting us to continue to push up higher. So if I'm expecting us to continue to push up higher, like break all these key structures, where are areas whereby price can come back to, and then I'll be feeling like as if I'm actually buying this on a discounted level. So it's a strategic way of looking at price, because one thing you know about price is price will always do this. If it's in a trend, it will always do this, it will do this, it will do this, it will do this, it will do scenario like this, it will do scenario like that, and it will do such a scenario, all right? So, and what you want to do is you want to capture this move up, but you need to find a reason to find this place where price can return back to, so that you are not buying this. This particular move has already occurred. All right. So as price is falling down, okay, you don't want to buy here. 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 But you want to find a reason to buy here, so that if you don't buy in all these places, the moment you buy over here, it's just a resumption of trend that you see, okay? And when that trend gets to a particular level, another sell-off will occur, right? So you don't want to be buying in all this area, but you want to buy when this next move is in play. So how does that imply to this our chart? So we have this low, we have this particular high, and then we break a new low lower than that. But what we've actually done is we've broken a high, all right? Haven't broken this particular high now. That still doesn't mean that we are now going to go up. We can have next trade come in and then trade back into this zone, right? And then find a reason for a sell-off back down to this area, which will be key, depends on what is coming up over there. Or another sell-off back to this little bit of demand zone. And then eventually, maybe we can then have a bullish scenario over here, because what price likes to do more than often is want to bring you in early, you know, and then once you are in early, then you can start to find the key struggle, because you've already over anticipated that this thing is going up, but you didn't put down the other scenarios. Hello?
Like this early trigger now that
Right.
we can see here now.
Yeah.
Now the price now have moved height of that early trigger. So
Right.
definitely, so this thing is not even forming another this thing is continuation of the the trend,
Right.
as maybe downtrend or
Well, okay, so the early trigger is just alerting you to the fact that there are more bullish orders in the market, right? But that hasn't given you that gives you a clue that we want to go up, but that hasn't given you a clue of where is the good location to buy. But
right.
you have seen that okay, we want to go up. Now you are looking for this to play up in such a way whereby if we go up, where can we encounter a bit of challenge to continue to go up? It might be when price comes to here, and then price may not even respect this level, but we know that it's there, and then trade above it. All right. And why am I looking for the best opportunity that I can see over here is this, is for price to trade above this high. Okay. When price trade above this side, the one key thing that I keep repeating over the last couple of few days that I've been coming to show the analysis is the price becomes a lot more expensive over here. All right. So when price becomes expensive, it will become attractive to sellers to say that, okay, at least I know that I'm not selling. This is the idea of the sellers that's in this market now, right? The sellers is looking at this and saying to himself that I want to sell, and the buyers is saying to themselves that they want to buy. The sellers will want to sell the highest priced ever, which is a trade above this high. Okay, so we know that above this side there are many stops over there. Okay, and if we manage to trade above this side, we have already become more expensive, whether anybody likes it or not, especially even on the time for our time frame. Okay, once you become expensive, this is not an area where you want to be looking for buy, or else something like this is happening, or else we break significantly above it. Okay, and then we have now retraced and we want to continue to go up. If that kind of a chart pattern has happened, then no problems. But if it hasn't happened, the moment we hit above this high, this is an high whereby we should be sitting down on and be thinking to ourselves that price would have become so expensive because we can see the highs barely over there, and then price can find a reason to say that we've just broken trend line, and then start to find a reason to deceive people that this is a fake break of trend line, and then a sell-off back inside will occur, right? And that sell-off back inside now becomes, let's take out some jargons of the chart, sorry. That sell-off back inside now become a confusion for some set of traders that will be thinking, oh, okay, we are selling off back inside, so maybe now price wants to continue to go down, but what exactly is the play? Where are the order blocks? You know, the order blocks are down here, so price that's eating all these highs. 1 second, please. Price that is eating all these high becomes very expensive. We've just broken trend line. We can then start to see a flush back in the monthly point of control. We've broken above it by then. It can then start to act as a key area to look for support bounce. Price may bounce exactly on the monthly point of control, but price may find another support area somewhere else. And one of the key areas where you can find another support area is this initial structure that is broken. Price may then come here, right? It's still valid for price to use this area to go back up according to the structure, because there's an early entry trigger here. This can continue to flush up to take out this trend line, and then selling after this, if we see a formation to sell back down to here, right, by the time we are coming back down to here, we are now coming back down to an area like this, okay? Because we've done a lot of work to at least even break the structure. If we come back down here, this area becomes a key magnetic area for price, and then you can then take that your entry on this area that you've already predetermined, right? For price to go up. So what you've seen is, and you've actually seen that bullish delivery. We broke a high, we break a new high at the same time as well, and then that has created another early entry trigger over here, above all this area here. So this would have become another early entry trigger, right? All we need to confirm this to early entry trigger is a trade above it, and that trade above it will make price become so expensive, and then can then lead to a sell-off, right? The seller's dynamic is they want to sell the highest high, okay, and the buyer's dynamic is, okay, the trend is going up, I want to buy this area. So this can then become our area, and you can see that there are a couple of things that can make this area becomes our area. And I always like when the areas is like 3-step down, okay, because that will give the price a lot of room to move. And I'll explain what do I mean by 3-step down. So this area of equal high low that we've marked over here becomes very, very important. The supply zone becomes very, very important, and the previous area of high equal highs and low becomes very, very important. So we break three major structures. We break this supply zone, and then we break this level of equal highs. All right, we've done a lot of work to even manage to achieve that. We've done a lot of work. So the sell-off that we'll see now, right, will be placing us in this particular move that is coming down, a retracement back down. And then what you want to do is you want to become part of this move that is going up. And that is the reason why we are looking at all this level to become a key area for price to go up. We just forming an idea, and it's good to have all those scenarios ahead. You know, you need to have at least 3 to 5 scenarios ahead before you even say that you want to make a trading decision, such that when those scenarios now start to unfold, the work that we've done today is not giving us that profit today, but it becomes a savings, all right? Such that when you now see things making a reason to bounce back up, oh, this is one of my formations that I am expecting, that I am anticipating. A couple of things have happened. And then now that we are seeing that retracement, we know that that retracement will be a power move to continue to go up higher. So we found our support and resistance around our price is currently playing, and I believe that is good for me. So one of the trades that I might take will be a move definitely above here. That is high probability trade for me, that if we start to see sell-off, you know, that sell-off, I can equally milk it and say even whatever, if the price is here to here, there's about 90 pips potential possibility for sell-off. It might occur. It is a probability, and this is what I'll be saying when it comes to trading is where are the high probability trades? That sell-off is a high probability trade. It might occur, and then the buy that you want to see around there, right, may occur as well. So these two locations become a location of high probability, and then once you find your location of high probability, that is where you want to be executing. You do not want to execute any other place, any other price, any other movements. You just want to execute in all those locations whereby there are high probability opportunities. Because what would then happen is that there's a trend line here. We've break the trend line. We now retrace back a little bit inside the trend line. High probability buy right here. You know, and price start to move up. If price find a reason to come back to this area at the same time as well. Now we are testing previous resistance turning into support, high probability, or a price can come down here, monthly point of control, and find that buying strength to actually use the monthly point of control as a support to push things higher. So those are scenario building, and you can see that what we've done is we've literally break down the charts. Like we've looked at the way that they can manipulate these charts during the active session, and we'll break it down to find our own high probability location. So, and that is what is key. That is the job that you need to do. That is the analysis that you need to see. You need to actually be able to see yourself ahead in a way that, okay, what can possibly happen, such that when it's happening, it's like, okay, I've already seen that there's a potential possibility for that. So that's a scenario. And those scenario playing out will give you confidence to know where you want to execute. If the scenario now plays out in a different manner, then you sit back and look back at, okay, so what are you actually handing over to me? You know, so that's sitting back, that kicking back and seeing what the price is actually handing over to you will make you to say that, okay, let me look for another decision-making process around there. But based on what the price is saying, forget about any indicators. We've already known that this key level has been broken. So it's not up to us to say that, okay, I want to buy in this region up the way to here, but you are buying into some key massive madness that you cannot predict what will happen, but you can predict what will happen at this high. If it's taken, you can equally say that a sell-off can potentially happen back into support around monthly point of control and price will take off. And that idea is clarity, you know, and clarity gives you confidence, and confidence gives you a reason to be able to execute. If you do not have confidence, you can't execute in this chart on this price. You will be finding it difficult to bring all the pictures to a O to be able to find that execution, and those execution are based on key things which you know, such that when you see certain things happening, you'll be thinking, so why didn't I think about this in the first place? But always remember the role of the marketplace is to facilitate trades. And who are these people that want to make the trades? They are the buyers and the sellers. What does the sellers want to do? The sellers want to sell the highest price possible. All right. And you've noted where that highest price is. And above those highest price, there are stops, potential possibility for stops that can make price just continue to the upside. You know that. But if those stops are triggered and price fail to continue to the upside and start to sell off, right, that is now opening the door for your trade scenario. And that sell off, you want to take advantage of any buy opportunities that's coming from there to push price up, or you want to take advantage of that sell off of the highest level currently to take advantage of that and take some profit somewhere and then do the buy again and let the price go up. So the dynamic that you yourself can employ at the back of how price moves gives you the edge, you know, understanding the dynamic that, okay, all the things that I'm seeing over here is not just a random move, it's just the orders forming its own structure, and it can come in all sorts of different kind of forms, but you need to be able to be prepared to identify it. And that is my message for you today. And then we see how this one plays out. We keep it, you look at how it plays out, and then we continuously update it, and then that becomes one of our charts that I know that once this thing pick up, looking back will be very, very challenging. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture of this for people who need to see it or keep it or something to watch for later time. Let's say save chart image. So if and I'll send it onto the group. Okay, and if you have any questions for now, do not hesitate to definitely give me a buzz on that. And then where's Muhammad Mukhtar? Yusuf Muhammad, how are you doing, my brother? Is that Muhammad?
I'm fine, are you?
Yeah. Is that Mohammed from Somalia?
I'm good. No. Nigeria.
Oh, you're from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is it going? It's good to meet you.
Yeah, I've been with you for a while.
Okay.
You said, I think for some time now.
Yeah.
Okay, even when you were doing a back test on that your ear, you understand? Yeah, I think I was with you. I've been with you since is it 2020 or 2019? I don't know.
Oh, thanks so
It's time
much.
to be correct. You understand?
Yeah,
But you know the hustle and bustle of Nigeria now. Keep
yeah,
us in and out, in and out, in and out like that.
exactly.
So this morning I was just going through my phone and saw, oh,
Hmm.
my logo is back. Let me join up and
Yeah,
build up.
thank you so much. Well, the big idea right about now is I've got some guys that I know that what I want to do is I know Nigeria's got its own challenging factors, but
Yeah,
that challenging factors we have to bring out an opportunity out of it for ourselves, you know what I mean, in
very
one
well,
way or the other, because
very
whether we
well.
like it or not, this generation will come and go, an era of all those people who are causing problems will come and go, but
Very well,
how
very well,
about what
very
is
well.
left out of it? How we preparing for the future, you know what I mean? And we come to a
Yeah,
point in Nigeria whereby things will be better, things even in United Kingdom, things used to be very, very worst. I was talking to one of my professors lately. She teaches something about human resources management, of like what they refer to as HR. And she was
okay.
making me to understand that in the early 70s, that the United Kingdom, when she was in her universities, that they had to be using lantern, kerosene lantern, they call it paraffin over here.
Yes, yes.
That's what they used to study, that the United
Hmm.
Kingdom, she was even making me to understand that back in the 1948 was
Yeah.
when they actually discovered things like penicillin, that
Wow.
that's when the death rate stopped. That a lot of people used to die out of any reason because there's no even any medical attention to people and this and that. But in 1948, they now formed
Wow.
what is called the NHS, which is the National Health Service. So
Yeah.
because before the NHS, what you can do is if you're working, if you're privileged to be working,
Yep.
you can pay like an insurance that will be covering your medical bills whenever anything happens. So, and it's not
That's correct.
everybody that can afford that payment every month
Yep.
because it's like an insurance payment, but you have to be paying it every single month. So the
That's true.
government have to look inward and say that, okay, our people are still dying. We have to do something about it. And that's one thing I say about Nigeria is we are at a stage whereby we are now waking up and saying to ourselves that this cannot be going on forever. We have to do
That's
something
right.
about it. So
That's
that
right.
is the steering that will lead to the change. You get where I'm
That's
coming
right.
from? But how the change
Yeah.
will be formed, we may not know, but people have already started saying
Yep.
it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's right.
And if you want your condition to change, right, the
Yep.
first thing that you have to do is make a decision, right? And
That's
that
right.
decision is, I want this to change. All right. How is it
Yep.
going to change? I don't need to know. But I have to believe that it can change. And I can see that many people, especially the generation that were born in the year 2000, late 90s, were
Yes.
saying everybody's crying about there's need for a change. This cannot
Yes.
continue forever
That's
like
right.
this. You get where I'm
Yeah.
coming from? And
I get you.
that is how I know that okay, there is a movement for a change in the making.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
You're
mean?
correct.
And
You're 100% correct.
some very
100% correct.
people who doesn't understand how the cycle works will be
Yes.
thinking, no, Nigeria can never be better. I have firm
I
belief
know.
that Nigeria can be better. But
It
okay,
will be better.
having that firm belief is one thing. Another thing is preparing ourselves for what is coming. And
That's
preparing
right.
ourselves for what is coming definitely requires us for everybody to put in a little bit of work in one thing. There is always a legitimate way to make money, and there's always the illegitimate way to make money. But the mindset
That's
of
correct.
majority of Nigerians is everything have to be illegit.
Illegit.
You know what I mean? So that mindset too need to change, and for that mindset to change, there will be some certain people who will lead the movement as well that, okay, we cannot cut out corruption completely because it has already become part of our fabric. You get where I'm coming from? We wear that every day. But we can continue to be bringing in things which can lead to a change, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Out of that mindset, and people can continue to benefit out of it. And it's hard work, you know what I mean? What the analysis that we've done over here now, it's not like as if it's a chicken work. It's actually an hard work, but it's us now using our brain to now generate the kind of profitable scenario that can occur in the market. And if everybody have this knowledge, or people who are interested, not even everybody, because to be able to make money out of the market requires one particular deep level of interest, and then it is not a day's game. It is not a skill that you acquire in a day. You know,
that's right.
People, it can take years for this skill to actually become a very big holistic picture, and for them to be able to see it. And for some people, it can come very fast, but for the people that it's going to come very fast for, there are not many.
That's right.
If you do not have that strength to withstand all the challenges that you may face, that you don't even understand, that you are now bringing an understanding into it and trying to get the perspective of how things work, right? Then you won't get to that level. You'll even be saying most probably it doesn't work or this or that, but this will bring out the real person in you for you to understand what works. And then once you start to get that together on a level, there is opportunity for funding in many forms, that when you go into the markets, you are just going in there to extract profit. You get where I'm coming from? I'm not saying there wouldn't be loss trades. We have to be realistic. You know what I mean? There will be some losses, but once you understand how to do the management of those losses.
It's happened to all the business now.
Exactly. So we have to be realistic. There are times in which a business is just learning to grow. And there are times whereby that business has reached a growth stage, and it can just be multiplying that growth, and then can expand. You get where I'm coming from? So it is a key scenario. And I was saying to someone, there's this particular there's this particular trading psychology book that even if I can have the printout, or if I can find a way to copy it, it's got an audio format as well, which if I can have a way to find that audio downloaded, I think it will be good for everyone in this field to listen to it. And what is so key about it is, this is not just about me now talking about what I know or what I've been through. This is about hundreds of other traders speaking about their challenges, speaking about how they manage to acquire success. And then when you now put yourself in that picture, you'll be able to see where you are. You'll be able to understand what they go through. You'll be able to understand how they get out of it. And these are all honest, legitimate scenario of building yourself to a growing level, you know, to achieve that growth. When you hear that, when you actually hear that, and you hear all those series from also different kind of traders, then you start to understand what are the key things that you need to do. It might just be journaling, looking back at your trades that you just need to do, and then things will change from there. It might be that little bit of review. It might be something else, you know, but if you can't find yourself, then it's going to be difficult for me to find you.
That's right.
You get where I'm coming from? But I can find it if I see that you are finding yourself little by little. So there has to be this generation of us that brings, what's it called? A different ideology back down to our people. And we have to have our own movement as well, because in a way, it's not everybody that's going to become Nigerian presidents.
That's right.
in our generation. So, or we can possibly have a way in which we can impact our people at the same time as well. And if it is about giving them a skill that you you are truthful to them about that skill, and they can make wave and make they can make themselves out of that skill, and they have the interest, and they know that it's not going to take a day's job. And one thing about something that doesn't take a day's job is what it will eventually do for you. You know, it is you developing yourself in a skill that's going to pay you in the future. And then once you get that development stage out of the way, then the sky is the limit, and we have the opportunity. We have electricity in a way, we have internet in a way, we can have one or two little computers in a way, and people just need to continue to learn. And once you learn it and you understand it, and then you can use it, then obviously you are part of a different kind of movement. You know, there are so many people over here that are living off the markets. There's everything that people are doing good in this part of the world has got to do with understanding investing in a way. It might be real estate that you are investing in, it might be a business that you are investing in, it might be anything that you are investing in, but all of them has got, just like Jalil said a while ago now, that even any business suffer their own losses. So if you don't want to suffer loss, then you are not ready to be a businessman. You know,
that's right. That's right.
You know, you have to encounter that little bit of pain to know how to then do it the right way. You know,
that's right.
Yeah. So let's keep doing this. I'll try to keep coming. There are so many knowledge.
I know that your hands are filled up with so much that you're doing. If you watch it, I've been adding my people to your channels.
Yeah.
Right from the
I've seen that as well on the Telegram.
So wherever I add, that means is my students. They're already in basic. I have a small academic, Forest Academy.
Oh, that's great.
On Lagos Island. You
understand? That
so,
makes sense.
Yeah, so whoever you see me adding there, because I've gone through the basics, the fundamentals of the market, understanding of it.
Yeah.
And look, this is just like every other market. Do you understand?
Exactly.
It's not a casino. You don't come here to run a casino. It's like a market.
Exactly.
It's like you're selling a tomato or you're selling a potato. Do you understand?
The only difference is the timing. I mean, okay, so the last couple of few webinars that I've done, it's like and I was trying to share that you can be a day trader, you can be a swing trader, but the way you're going to approach the market is different. All right, so let's say, for example, now, if you're selling tomatoes on the street and you know that you don't have a fridge, you cannot just go into the market and say, I'm going to buy a whole tomato for a whole month.
No way.
So that is a loss already. You don't have that is a loss already. You are doing more than what you're supposed to do. All right.
That's right.
Then I say to people at the same time that if you know you are working, right? If you know you are working and your work can have a significant impact on what you want to do as a side also, right? There are other approaches to it at the same time as well. You know, you need to find what works for you. And if you don't know what works for you, because you're not truthful to yourself, I've got work to do, I've got children to look after, then I've got this little bit of time whereby I need to be alone, either as a man or as a woman, and add something to the skills which I've already acquired, or see something much more clearly. And that time needs to be like a lonely time, a time whereby I can't have any distraction, you know. So after they do, you have to go back. If that is just a Sunday, then on that particular Sunday, I'll be looking for a swing trading opportunity. If I have time, then I can say that I want to day trade. And the key thing is now talking about, because one thing I understand about trading more than anything else is the risk management. If you can, first of all, let people understand risk management, and we talked about that just now, that if you're selling tomatoes, and just because the tomatoes are cheap more than how you are buying it before, but you don't have a fridge, or freezer to keep it, and you
or
want to go and buy.
preservative that device to protect or to
Yeah.
keep the fish, to
Yeah,
do the
and
research.
then for someone else, now look at it, for someone else might employ in another scenario that, don't let me be stupid, I can't buy this old tomato. Why don't we leave this tomato still on the field or on the tree, but I bought this particular portion, and each and every time that I need, I'll just come and take it off the tree and still be taking it to the market. You've applied another sense to business. Maybe the owner of the farm can say to you that, okay, no problems, I'll leave it on the tree. We don't need to plug it off. Okay. You'll be able to make more money than someone that's so stupid that just went to go and buy it cheap and then they start to rot and can't do anything about it. But if you can still turn that tomato into a dry tomato or into tomato purees, if you have the capacity to say that, okay, I want to turn it into tin tomatoes, I want to turn it into tomato puree, or turn it into something that even if I buy a lot of it today, I can preserve it, just like what Jalil is saying. That preservation will see earn you money in the future.
That's right. That's right.
We need to be proactive and wake our people up, and I see that that's what we are doing. And everybody is because when I think in 1998, the internet in Nigeria has started becoming moves away a little bit from dial-up, and we start to have companies that do internet calf with C bands, satellite dishes, KU bands, and stuff like that. Because
that was then.
Yeah, that was then. That was when I was even working in Nigeria, and then we are providing internet service to people, and so many people are using that opportunity to go on the internet and find a way to even travel out of the country, But now the internet scenario has changed. Everybody have the mobile devices, they can buy a bit of a subscription. Everybody can have access to it. You get where I'm coming from, and that access is like back in the days during the time of my own fathers. The one thing that my father will always say is information is money. If you need information, you pay money for it, right? We've moved away from that age. Even anybody in Nigeria can find any information without having to pay. But once you pay your subscription or whatever, you can go on the internet and find it.
You have to pay for your subscription.
Yeah, but you cannot compare that with just paying someone for one single bit of information back in the days.
I know. The only thing is that no matter how, all what we are doing now is we buy data, we buy system, we buy this in order to get so many things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we are still paying. The only thing is that the payment is different.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to pay for anything in this world, then you will still pay for something. But all I'm saying is the changes are always there now. The changes are significant, whereby, okay, now you know who to pay. You can go and pay someone and you get a fake information.
Sure.
Or you get information that can kill you, and then it will lead you to a trap. But now you can get much more clear information. You can even do further research on that information before you even act on it. So it is an
the payment now is very easier than then.
Exactly. The accessibility is now much pronounced. Because even a child that is born in Nigeria today, compared to the time that we were born, they were born to a situation whereby they can grab their mother's phone or their father's phone and play a game on it. They know how to operate a phone at 4 years old. At 3 years old, they know that already. During our own time, is it that phone that the one that
analog.
Yeah, that analog. Is that the one that you
want to play? It's only rich
Those analog, our father used to put padlock on it. You can't even die. You know what I'm going? They will put padlock on it. Who do you think you're going to be calling? For my bill to become very, you can't even dial it. You can't do anything with it. And that is the only way of reaching out or sending letters. through the post office, you
Yes.
know,
That's right.
during our own time, like when we were young. But look at it now, things are changing. So those generations that are coming now, which are our own children, they are not going to tolerate the bullshit that is going on, because
all this
it takes us time to have access to information. And you know the funniest part of everything, in Africa, they still rate us as they believe that Nigerians are the access door to every single thing, in a way. That will be the first person to have to know exactly what is going on. Will be the first person to break barriers in certain fields. Will be the first person. When you go to certain part of Africa, and I'm talking about parts whereby I can even say that they are living better than Nigeria because of the basic amenities that they have. Maybe they have 24 hours 24 hours electricity, which you don't even have access to in Nigeria. You have to go and make sure that generator, maybe you have 2 of them or 3 of them. When one is getting very hot, you change it to another one just because you want to get something done. You can't even have your fridge cold all through the day without turning on an alternative source of. We have our challenges. You get where I'm coming from, but with our challenges, we are growing very strong. When people see us outside, they wonder where we get all this thing that drives us from. And the only thing that drives people is not sitting down in their comfort zone. We were never comfortable in Nigeria.
That's right.
Yes.
People are now trying to find a means to create comfortability. You know, I'm not saying that some certain set of people are not well-to-do, but being well-to-do is not a measure of say, for example, if you have 100% of people and say about 10% or 15% or 20% are just well-to-do in a society, that is not a measure of that country's happiness index. You know, there is something. There are also indices or index to measure how a country can grow. And I realized that when you look at Nigerian data, there are still many places that are so obscure, whereby we are not using the available data to help project the necessary growth that we need in people. It is the people that are the country. It's not even the politicians. So if you cannot manage the people right, okay, you are not forming any government. If you do not have a long-term visions about your people, then you are not forming, and there's no government, because those are the people that when you are gone or you are no more in that seat, the running of that country will still depend on them, will depend on their children. So if everybody is not contributing in one way or the other, and you are not providing access for them to contribute in one way or the other, the country will continue to remain in chaos. When that professor was telling me that in 1948, they have to develop the National Health Service, and the National Health Service now is run by the government. All right. And the reason why it has to be run by the government is so that it can be run in a way that it is not a non-profit organization. And if it's not a non-profit organization, the government will now provide the leadership of creating an industry whereby other private business owners or other private employers will look at the model of the government and says that we can follow this model, because the employees that are working for the National Health Service, which are not just doctors alone, which are not just the healthcare alone, which are not just the people in administrative section alone, which are not just the drivers that drives the ambulance and make sure that they get to anybody that is sick within number of hours, which are not just the people who are employed onto the air ambulance, who drive the helicopters to go and rescue people who are going to die either on a mountain or already their boat has capsized in the sea. They create a structure to make sure that life in itself needs to be cherished. All right. Before those times, the woman was telling me that they only do human resources based on numbers. How many workers is working, and they call it HR, add human resources, whereby how many workers is working in this company, what is their production capacity. They now have to move it to soft HR. And in Nigeria, the only thing that we have is hard HR. Just become an employee of a country, so you become a number, and then your number have to produce certain result or certain targets. Okay, so that is hard HR. But they now have to go into soft HR by now seeing the employees or the people who are working or anybody that's trying to learn a skill, whether you're an apprentice, to now start to look inward at what is this person actually going through? This person has got a house, has got a wife, has children. Obviously, if he's coming to work for us, what's exactly happening to his children? Are they being looked after? Do they have anybody that's taking them to school? If we need to demand this so much from this person that get to work on so time, then we should be able to contribute to his life, to make his and every part of his life, to make it a lot more easier. We should be able to provide healthcare, not just healthcare, childcare for his family, so that already they know who's going to look after their family, so that when they come to this workplace, they feel connected. You should be able to understand their feelings. How are they actually feeling in the work that you are giving them? Are they enjoying it, or they are not enjoying it? They should find their place of work a place of whereby they are contented. You should put human feelings into whatever you are doing as a company. Not that you should now let them work and just work and can't look back and even benefit from the work. If we are creating a work culture and we believe in our vision and in our values, and we know that we are giving values back to the society, there's no way that this is going to die, because people will continue to adopt us. So the people that are making us bring this value down to the society, what are we supposed? They become a very, very essential commodity. Without them, we can't grow. So, and the only way we will grow is if they are happy. So in Nigeria, people cannot be happy, so they have to take bribe. Exactly. Because the government is not even paying the salary.
Where is the salary?
The government is not paying the salary.
The question is, where is the salary?
That's what I'm saying. But they want you to do the work. So inside every workplace that's supposed to have a very good structure, everybody create a means of eating. Maybe it's ordinary file that you need to take to the Oga Patapata at the top for carrying the file. Okay, your file is not going anywhere. What do you mean? You just expect your file to, how do you think it's going to get there? You want your file to be on top. You want that contract to be assigned to you. How? In what sense? You think the file just get there by itself? You think the structure that we create over here is just for everything to work and interflow?
It's like you have worked in a civil service before.
You know what I mean? No. I came to Nigeria in year 2008. And the funniest part of everything is the speaker of Oyo State back then used to be the number 2 immigration person in London. It's a woman, Alaja Monsurat Sumanu, and suddenly the Alaafin of Oyo and the Arishekolas just she used to be their girl back then, like literally when they need to travel. She was more or less like their errand person that they will go and collect them at the airports, that will take them from one place to the other. So she has built a connection with them, and suddenly they thought to themselves that this lady is doing good in United Kingdom, it's our child. We can give her the opportunity to come and use the same expertise to become something in Nigeria, you know. And then she's very, very hardworking. Even she was working with Baba Jasin from back then, because I know this woman up and close like that. She's someone that I used to go to her house. I used to do all my Ramadan break in her house all the time. So I used to buy some stuff, take it down to our house, and we used to be a lot, because she's an influential person over here. She will let you know exactly what the immigration is doing and how it's likely going to affect you, and how it's likely going to affect people who are going to come in, how it's likely affecting people who are still putting in their documents to normalize their status in the country. So, and that is first-hand news directly from the government, you know, because they are the decision maker. So if you know someone like that, you just stay around them and you stick with them. They gave her an opportunity to come to Nigeria, to come and join politics and this and that. She was meant to become an honorable, first of all, and then there was someone that was contending for that honorable post, and Alafin and Marishkola told her that just calm down, don't worry, we will see what to do. Because when she campaigned in London, and I was part of her campaign team, following her all over the places, she was campaigning for honorable, but by the time she gets to Nigeria, someone else is doing like, I have enough money to take care of this, and I want to become the honorable. So the people in big places, they were like, okay, if that's what you want to do, don't worry, we know what to do. So they tell her to calm down, that they will fix her a place. The next place they're going to fix her was way better than the honorable. They put her as the Speaker of the States, and you can. So if you, the honorable, you can go and be bribing some people underneath, then we go higher than you, you know. So if we put her in the Speaker of States, which you can't even get to that level, that's your own cup of tea. So I came to Nigeria, I then went to the Speaker's office. And as I was coming inside, you will see the orderlies, you will see the permanent secretary or whatever. We see all the office officials, and the only thing every one of them is doing is they are just sitting at a desk. There's not even a computer for them to be processing any data whatsoever. So I don't know what their job is more than I see files. And when I look at them, it's like everybody's job is just to take this one file from one place and put it in another place. And I can see also different kind of bureaucracy that's going on, because before you can even get to the office of the speaker herself, there's about 4 or 5 or 6 different desks of people who doesn't know what they are doing. They are just there, sitting down as a civil servant. There's no contribution. So you wonder how those ones even becomes a government worker. There's no any contribution whatsoever. They are just sitting down there. So those are the people that, and they are sitting closer to each other, but all of them have their own posts. The file messenger knows his own post. The file messenger that's not going to put it on this other person's table, and this other person's table is going to put it on the number 3 person's table, and number 3 person's table will put it on the number 4 person's table. Before number 4 person now put it to maybe the deputy speaker's table, and then the deputy speaker's table have our own assistants too on the side that will now say that we are taking into the speaker herself. So I can see all the stupidity coming in, and I'm sitting down. I'm looking at them. So when I now get to the office of the speaker and everything, and we start talking, because there were a couple of us that went there. The office of the speaker herself, the table is full of file. And I will be seeing some other messenger coming in and be like, oh, God, this is where you need to sign. They don't even allow her to read it, but they are telling her that this is where you need to sign. And when they see that she's distracted, okay, you have to sign this. You have to sign that. The only thing that the speaker job is doing is sign, sign, sign. I'm like, sign. And once she's signed that, before she even read it, There are
Because
still other files that
please,
are still sitting on the table that she hasn't even touched. But there are some side files that are coming in that this one needs to be signed, and it needs to be signed immediately. Meanwhile, the other people who think their own file is being attended to, that file is just sitting there. She hasn't even touched those ones for the whole day. I'm like,
yeah, Bossman, I really thank you for this morning. Can you just permit me to attend to the family? They're trying to seek my attention now.
Yeah, that is
But
fine.
I would rejoin you.
Yeah,
As soon as
that is
I'm done with
fine.
this.
And thank you so much. I'm going to call it a
I will
day at
rejoin
the
you
same
now.
time as well.
I will rejoin you now. Yeah.
Okay, no problems.
But I will leave my stuff on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be calling it a day. I'll post this video on the whatever, and then I'll look to do another session much later on in the day. I just hope we get a bit of clarity into what goes on. And thank you so much, everybody.
I will join on.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Jalil, yeah, I will catch up with you in a bit at the same time as well. I need to go now.
Okay.
Do you have any question whatsoever? If you have any question,
I don't have questions.
all right. Yeah, I need to go now. I have one or two things that I need to do, and then we catch up in a bit at the same time as well. Yeah, but I need you to ask questions, and I need you to start putting certain things into practice because I haven't seen that.
No, I want to do that. Even today, even it's only when I'm, when I have light also. That's just we don't have lights now, so definitely I have to wait for, maybe I will go to one cafe, but I will try some things on them also by myself because of what you have done. So you understand, it's very,
so that you can
very clear to me, that I have. So you understand, but I want to try to do practice it.
This is why you see most of my students, I drop them for you on the technical analysis area.
Yeah.
I always like expose them in here. Once once I'm done with the fundamentals, are you getting it? Yeah. Once I'm done with fundamentals and they're good on fundamentals, as soon as I get into the technical area, I'll start sending them back to boss. We are gone. There's somebody that you have to be following now. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that's fine. No problems. And
I'll tell them, leave me alone, gentlemen. Follow this man. He's going to guide you through technical analysis.
Okay.
So that's why from time to time you see me adding them. I make sure.
And when you add them, just tell them that they should get into that they should send me a message, no hesitating, that they should at least send me a message. If they do, then I can understand that they are there, and then I can understand and look for wherever they are. They can then discuss whatever they want to discuss, and then I can take them on from there at the same time as well. Yeah?
No wahala.
All right, then.
No wahala.
Yes, because I don't want them to feel lonely, that nobody's talking to them. They should make endeavor to get in touch with the admin, because it needs to go on a personal level. You get where I'm coming from. You have to understand someone. If you want to actually give them this skill, you have to be able to give them this skill in a way whereby they're going to understand. You have to listen to their feedback, not just for them to be listening to you alone. They have to be able to be truthful to themselves that this is my current condition, and how do you now go around the conditions and do things in a different way,
That's right.
So let's do that, and then we take it from there. All right. I really do appreciate your time and your input as well in the industry.
Okay now.
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. You're welcome, guys.
Okay. I'll see you more. Okay.
All right then, and you too.
Okay. Fantastic. Bye bye. Yeah.
All right then. Bye now.